So everyone in person and everyone online, please can I ask and invite you to all close your eyes. No peeking, keep them shut. I can see you in person if you're opening. I would like to ask you to take yourself back to the first lockdown. And I would like you to remember how you felt. Boredom, pulling your hair out, missing friends and family, the pub, the gym, maybe even the office. I now invite you to open your eyes again. Two main stats that came from the first lockdown were, number one, the rate of enrolment to online courses surged by over 600%. And number two, 42% of us individuals experience some sort of mental health issues, predominantly anxiety and depression. I'd now like you to close your eyes again, please. And again, take yourself back to that first lockdown. However, now you are bound to one single room in the house. And you now do not have access to the psychological or educational tools such as Zoom, Teams, Duolingo, and Calm. How do you feel now? Please open your eyes again, and you'll be happy to know that's the last time I ask you to close your eyes. What you just experienced in your mind and all those feelings you felt are what a single prisoner in an everyday closed traditional UK prison feels and experiences every single day. Every single normal day. And over lockdown, that then turned into 24 hours. Not much worse than 23, I guess, but 24 hours a day in their cell with nothing to do. Now, prison is the punishment itself. Is it our jobs as individuals to punish them any further? Some of you probably still think yes. So let's think of it in other terms. Now, the social and economical cost of reoffending in 2019 was a staggering amount of £1.81 billion. £1.81 billion of your taxpayers' money. Now, my challenge for you today here is, if we could save just 10% of individuals from reoffending with the simple means of technology and given additional support via psychological and educational means, we could save £181 million. £181 million by saving 10% of individuals incarcerated from reoffending. Now, if I was selfish and you said, Jay, what would you spend £181 million on? What would I tell you? Not one, but 15 private Caribbean islands. That's me being selfish and imagining the wind in my hair, and you can tell I haven't had a holiday over lockdown, right? I'll let you think about what you would spend that £181 million on. So just to reinforce, my digital dream is to provide prisoners with some sort of additional support via technology for their educational and psychological needs. Now, some of you are still looking at me like, Jay, why technology? Why in prison? Does it really make sense? Shall we just go back to ignoring our own mental health problems and sticking CGP books in front of children and prisoners again? Well, psychologically speaking, one single positive that came out of lockdown for prisoners was the introduction of FaceTime. We spoke about how prisoners now need to spend 24 hours in their cells, which meant they could not visit those visitation suites and they could not do their education. Thus, the need for FaceTime. Guards spoke about how prisoners seem more calm and collected, and how violence in a whole dropped. I guess this is why Maslow's hierarchy of need, which talks about which individuals need to survive every single day, is now quantifying technology, Wi-Fi, and battery. The reason why is this provides individuals with resources, permission, and it allows them to meet their social needs on a global level. Additionally, another technology that helps psychological means are VR. Thames Water are currently trying this out and has been successful with their staff to, number one, understand what depression, anxiety, and other mental illnesses look like, and number two, to spot anyone going through mental illness so they can gain support before coming to a crash. Now, how are they doing this? They are uploading video and photo content to these goggles, so when they are placed on, we can mimic the eyes of someone going through any mental illnesses. And it has been a success. So now let's imagine putting this into a mental space where mental illness is quite high. Imagine if we could train our guards to spot the signs of mental illness before it happens, to then become a support system to prisoners to relieve the NHS pressure in prisons. There's further costs, and obviously our NHS needs some relief after the lockdown, right? Additionally, we can also use technology for education. As we can see here, prisoners in Finland are able to opt into mental health, mechanical, anatomy courses, as well as AI courses that we can see on the right. A prisoner in Finland is able to stay in one single room and use his VR goggles to gain their qualifications, all from one single room. May I note that this technology-enhanced equipment and this suite here actually costs 30% less than a traditional UK closed prison. 30% less. And prisons in Finland, the rates of reoffending are the lowest in Europe. So they must be doing something right that we can mimic. I now want to move on to our second case study. Please meet Tracy. Tracy is an individual from an outskirts of London, probably like many of us here today. However, Tracy found herself in uncontrollable drug usage and found herself going round and round and round that reoffending cycle. Nevertheless, Tracy was able to prove everyone wrong and get out that reoffending cycle with the use of personalised pathways. Now you may ask, what are personalised pathways, Jay? Well, they are a technological platform that allow access for end users to more unique courses. So how did Tracy do this? Tracy firstly chose via her learner pathways to divest into agricultural courses, in specific butchery, which is quite unique, a bit different to what I know I did at university. She then was given via her iPad access to resource banks, where she could choose her preferred way of learning. And in the background, consensual data was being collected, which then allows her, as Sam mentioned earlier, to make informed decisions. Informed decisions on her preferred ways of learning and the best ways to gain her qualifications. And in turn, as I mentioned earlier, Tracy did prove everyone wrong. Not only did she leave prison, she remained out of prison and opened the Giggly Pig Farm in East London. You're more than welcome to research and Google Tracy after this session. She's a massive advocate for technology in prison, and she still has the farm as it is today. And going one step further, Tracy is now giving back to society by allowing troublesome teens to opt in and gain first-hand experience in her farm. Now, isn't Tracy a neighbour you would not mind having? When inmates do leave prison, they do need to go somewhere. So would you not rather a more calm and collected neighbour? I personally would, and I definitely would not mind if Tracy was my neighbour. And just to hone in on how powerful additional support and mentoring can be, I just want to touch on the Atos Ants mentoring program. For those of you that do not know what the Atos Ants mentoring program is, it gives additional support to inmates in several prisons across the UK, via educational and psychological means. And the rates in turn show proof. The reoffending rate for ANT's mentors has dropped to a staggering 6%. 6% versus a national average of 40%. And so far, they have recorded a social and economical cost of £184 million, which is growing ever more so. So, just to close and reinforce my digital dream, if technology was the cure for Tracy to not only leave that reoffending cycle, but to then give back to society, could technology be an educational and psychological support system not be the cure for us having more insightful, educated, calm, collective prisoner releases? Or I don't make it. We want all the kind of a good name, don't we? And if anything more, think about those 15 private Caribbean islands I would be buying with £181 million. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm more than happy to have more conversations on this topic after this day.